Stepping, looking deep down the field for a big play, and he's got prime time. Prime time got green grass. It is picked off by Derwin. There goes Derwin. And he gets Derwin, get out of here. Let's go. Defense from Wesley Gittins.
If you want to start winning more Madden games, then go to school.com/Wesley's Workshop or on the school mobile app, where you get access to full breakdowns of the exact schemes that you have seen me dominate with online and in professional tournaments. There's also a community page where you can ask me and other members questions, and there are weekly tips showing you everything new I find on the game as I find it. You can unlock all of this for $20 and start winning more Madden games now. Alright guys, so this is the round of 128. Like I said, we got to win 4 games in a row to go from 128 players to 8 to make the LCQ live event. And our first game, we played a guy named I_who. I have never played him before. This is actually his first competitive tournament. I played him on the bracket. I actually went to his Twitch stream and talked to him for a few minutes before the night before. And this guy actually isn't from America. I think he lives in Germany, I believe. But he speaks German, he speaks English, which is pretty cool, and a football fan. I thought that was really interesting. Not a lot of international people are football fans, so I thought this was really cool. I hate I had to play him round 1 because cool dude. I did do a little scouting when I watched the stream. Obviously, I knew he was running this trips tight end formation. But let's go ahead and get into it. So when you're playing your first game of like an MCS tournament, you definitely want to start on defense. I think the first game is always your hardest game. Just because like the pre-game nerves and stuff hadn't got out of you. Excuse me. But we get him to a 4th and 11, his first drive, and we make a huge hit stick and get a stop. And you're right here when you're, up a stop already. Like, obviously, you can actually play a little more conservative because no matter what on this drive, your goal is to get points. So, like, if I would have got 3 that drive, per se, it is still a successful drive compared to if it was 0-0 and I got 3, I'd view that as a negative drive. And that's just because it's almost like that's a free possession that we weren't supposed to have. So we end up running the ball, getting Vic in the end zone for a touchdown. But I just want to put that out there that's a situation where you don't have to be as aggressive, basically. But like obviously you want 7, but on 4th downs and such, when you're up a possession, you definitely are a little more willing to take your 3, I should say. We get him doing a 4th down right here. He takes a curl route, good read. And then right here, he ran a QB zone, which I actually want to talk about. So if you guys have my my dollar ebook mastery, my dollar mastery on my school, Wesley's Workshop, we actually do like the cover 0 shell against trips tight end. But one thing I will say is a weakness is you have this extra slot corner on the left side, which means this right side is a little weaker to the run. And the only run that attacks this right side is either a counter, which I'm not really worried about anyone running counter, or the QB zone, which as you guys saw, he got like 20 yards with right there, and it's something that is a part of his offense the whole game. What I will say is I feel like QB zone, I'm not too stressed about it in a real game, and that's because if you hit stick the quarterback, he will fumble. So I feel like they're taking a risk calling it, and that's why I don't really stress about it too much. But just keep that in mind. That is something that the cover 0 shell does give up in trips, so just be cognizant of that. All right. We actually get a fumble right there, but he recovers it. Like we've talked about, this is the 0 chill time, so avalanches are everywhere. We get to another 4th and 1. Would love to get a stop right here, and I send 3, which actually gives up the scramble. I should have played lower with my user to stop that. That's on me. But in my mind, he's converted 2 4th downs this drive, and I'm just like, okay, I'm playing good defense on this guy. Like, I'm eventually going to get a stop. And as you can see, he's on a 3rd, 4th down of the drive. So these are some of the most frustrating drives in competitive Madden, when they convert multiple 4th downs in a row. You feel like they're not really playing good offense on you. But in my mind, this is very telling for me for the rest of the game. Like, okay, this guy's struggling on offense against me. I'm going to get stops because he's not always going to convert, every single 4th down. As I get into another one right here, 4th and 5. And I give him the easiest route possible, which is the running back Texas route. So, bad defense on my part, and he runs QB zone. I don't think I make this tackle, do I? No, I should do. Okay. 2nd and 5. He drops back, takes his drag route. Big hit stick. Would have loved the fumble right there with Avalanche. Didn't get it, though. And then he runs the ball in. Michael Vick. freight train touchdown. But either way, we're still up a stop, so I'm not really stressing too much. In these games, you're going to watch, I actually ran the ball a lot more than I typically do. And that's just because how OP Vic was. That freight train Vic, honestly, was Madden 20 Dickerson. So, as you see, I threw a RPO right there, speed boosted for a touchdown. Speed boost shouldn't be in Madden, by the way. Wish it wasn't, but as long as it's in Madden, I'm going to be taking advantage of it, of course, as a competitive player. And then, starting on this drive, he kind of found, I wouldn't say a weakness. I would just say Michael Vick was really OP at this time as he breaks another tackle and scores a touchdown. He started running the ball a lot on me, whereas his first 2 drives, you saw he was passing a lot more. And that's kind of a common theme you'll see in this tournament as a whole, is people were running the ball a lot, and it's completely due to how OP that Michael Vick was. So keep that in mind when you're watching these games, is that the run game was really, really good at this time. And honestly, the run game is still good now in Madden, but at this time it was crazy, as you can see. I break 2 tackles, and a 12-yard gain turns into a touchdown because the first guy falls off, the second guy falls off, and Vic's is 99 speed touchdown. So definitely a very RNG-heavy time of Madden, I'd say. I think normally Zero Chill is one of the better times in Madden, but unfortunately, I think the X Factors made it a little too fluky on both sides. It was avalanches and unstoppable forces against Freight Train, basically, as he shouldn't have caught that pass, in my opinion. But that's all right. He runs his QB zone. Jackson Dart. He has a Giants theme team, by the way, guys. He's a Giants fan, so that's why you see Jackson Dart into the end zone for a touchdown. And right here, I return this kickoff, and part of me thought maybe I should go down. But again, when I'm making split-second decisions like that, it's really based off how I've been playing the game, and I thought I was playing really good defense, so I scored. But in this version of Madden, there's just so many big plays. As you can see, he then busts a 48-yard QB zone for a touchdown, so maybe I shouldn't have scored. Maybe I should have tried to clock him. He actually goes for 2, and I'm actually losing this game right now. My round of 128 games, supposed to be my easiest game of the tournament, I'm losing, and it's almost halftime. I do get ball at half, so our goal right here, get any points possible, only have 2 timeouts in 20 seconds, but he gives us back-to-back out-of-bounds plays, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, we can actually get 7 right here as we throw another pass out of bounds. So this drive is going basically perfect. We just have to, execute well and get into the end zone as we throw another corner route, get out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Unfortunately, get to a 3rd and goal, and Nick Bosa, I'm actually going to rewind and show you guys this play. Pretty crazy play. So watch his lefty tackle, watch Nick Bosa on a 3rd and goal. So we had a chance to get 7, and Nick Bosa said, no, you're not scoring. He gets a speed boost shed. I don't even know what that was, just a glitch. But we take our 3, go into the half up by 2, and this is not a very comfortable spot, even though we get ball. So we start the half off with a run. And you think, oh, damn, 7-yard loss, but Vic breaks a tackle, speeds boost out of there, and a 7-yard loss turns to a 65-yard touchdown. That is the power of Freight Train and the power of speed boost epitomized into one play. As he really started establishing the run in the second half, and also the end of the first half, he really started establishing the run on me, and I think the problem was I don't think I was shooting the gap too well. As he passes on a 3rd and 5, we bait him, we switch stick him, and get a pick 6 with Brock Bowers. And at this point, I felt like the game was over, especially if I get the 2-1 conversion, which I do, to go by 17. And now the game is not a formality, but the game is in a spot now to where he would have to get lucky to win, or I would have to basically fold. Once you're up by 3 possessions, I'm basically going to be chewing clock every play, and he actually busts another rushing touchdown, which is super frustrating. He's running the ball down by 17, but what can you do? So, right here, my goal is to chew the clock, but we get a walk-in touchdown with Vic, and, part of you might think to go down right there, but my thought process on when I go down or not in terms of that is also based on if I can increase the possession lead, so if from a 2-possession game to a 3-possession game, I'm going to do it. So I took the touchdown, make him play offense as we get an Avalanche fumble, which it was on his quarterback. I don't think Avalanche really mattered. But as you can see, really weird game. I had 53 points on 178 passing yards. He only had 150 passing yards. So the first game of the tournament is always a weird one to me, honestly. I feel like they play weird on both sides. But now we're starting the round of 64, so we're 3 games away from making the live event, and we're playing the nut. I actually played this guy around 4 days or so prior to this game, and like in a MUT tournament, which is actually on the channel. So if you're up to date on all the videos, you actually played this guy like 4 days before this game was played in a MUT tournament, and he ran, I believe, Jets. He was in Jets bunch, and he was passing every play, and he would go to doubles flex and pass out of that as well. So I thought I had a good idea what he was running on coming into this game, but he actually switched schemes on both sides, which, as you'll see, I thought I was getting one version of the Nut 67, and that is not the version I got. So I guess he was hiding his scheme in the tournament and was saving it for this. And he actually switched defenses too. He was running, I believe this is nickel 2-4, and he was just stunting me. That was his goal. He wanted to do stunts. He's basically making it look like single mug and was engaging and things like that. As I walk in the end zone with Caleb Williams, super OP quarterback. I actually celebrated right there. Probably shouldn't have. But either way, as you can see, his first play of the game, he actually switched to the Bears playbook, which in this Y-off trips formation has a direct snap, which is this is probably my first time playing the direct snap, especially in like the Vic meta, with how good Freight Train was. So he was coming out in Bunch X Nasty and audibling to this run, which was a very annoying scheme, and it's actually my first time playing against it. So the whole game, I'm kind of like adjusting on the fly to learn how to stop something I haven't really played before. Yeah, so his goal this game was to run the ball a lot with how OP the run was. Definitely can't get mad at him. We get him to a big 3rd and 8, and he actually catches that to make it 4th and 4. And on 4th and 4, he actually runs the ball, but Sean Taylor actually just threw his left tackle into the ground. And in a game where, I didn't really know what my opponent was running, it's my first time playing against it, getting that opening stop right there was huge. So now, this drive, like I described earlier, this is a free possession, so no matter what, your idea on offense is get points. But we run one of our favorite route combos. He actually switch sticks off the streak to guard the running back wheel route. We see that, throw him off immediately, one easy touchdown. And he came to this game with a game plan to run the ball, and he did not leave it. I felt like I was playing good defense. Hit him in the backfield right there, and he broke another tackle, and that's an 80-yard rushing touchdown. So, you see firsthand why he ran this scheme, and then run our next drive, and we have to take to a 4th and 9. And I really feel like you need to get this first down to keep control of the game. And I have this curl route, which I think is open, but Ingram doesn't animate. I think it's on me though. I think I threw the ball a split second too early, and that's a pick 6. And now this game's even again. We're no longer at an advantage. So that opening stop didn't really matter, or didn't really help us, and now we have to come back and just go get 7. And I felt really good about my offense, obviously. The biggest thing was just learning how to play against his offense. My first time seeing it. So we run the ball in the end zone. We get into a 2nd and 6 right here. And yeah, Vic was moving, bro. I use the safety right here to really try and stop the run. But, even so, Vic breaks, I think, 2 tackles right there and gets 8 yards. And right here, he's trying to clock me out and make it the last drive of the half, which is pretty smart. So he is just chewing clock, playing slow. We get into a 3rd and 6, though, and I really wish my flat played that. You know what I mean? But either way, get into another 3rd and 2. We know he's running the ball right here, and I think he had bad run stick. I think he was playing a little too safe. Had bad run stick, 4th and 2. I knew he was running right here. I shoot the gap and get a good tackle animation and get the stop. So we're back up a possession again, back in full control. And the same thing as last time, our goal right here, just get 3, 7's beautiful, but we have to get points. We have to just keep control of this game. He gets ball at half. Keep that in mind as we throw across the middle. And yeah, keep in mind there is a runoff though. So by the time it's third down, I no huddle twice. I have no timeout, so I just take my flat route. I understand I'm only going to get 3, and that's okay. But the half is not over. Y'all know how good kickoff returns are on Madden 26. He returns this kick. Luckily, Bobby Wagner, who was my kickoff guy, made a tackle. And this is a 70-yard field goal, which I want to tell you guys, you can hit a 70-yard field goal on Madden 26. If you have 99 kick power and you get perfect power, perfect accuracy, you can, in fact, hit a 70-yard field goal. So he attempts it. He has the distance, but his accuracy was a little off. Thank God. I'd have been very upset with myself if, I went to half only up by 7. So we get him to a 3rd and 15, and, his scheme was his scheme. He ran the ball on 3rd and 15. 4th and 10, one of those plays, if you get the stop, I feel like it's all she wrote, game's over. And he runs double curls. He has a curl route, a 10-yard curl route, and a 20-yard curl route, throws the 20-yarder, and that's a first down. Little unfortunate, and then get to a 3rd and 11, and I think he might pass. I didn't pass commit, but on 3rd and 11, he ran the ball and got a 60-yard touchdown. So pretty frustrating plays. I feel like I was playing good defense on 1st and 2nd down, and then gave that up. And then my next drive, he messes up his switch stick off the snap. I see that. I throw it immediately. Easy 80-yard touchdown. But I knew this game definitely wasn't over. As you can see, Vic's breaking tackles. He's speed boosting everywhere. Super hard player to defend. I give him another 3rd and 15, and he actually runs the ball again. We hit him in the backfield. He breaks it. Hit him again. He breaks it, and then he speed boosts past me for a 32-yard touchdown on 3rd and 15, and he celebrated on me. So that one hurt a little bit. Definitely feel like I should have gotten multiple stops that drive, and I didn't. So no situation where we have to go get 7. 3 is not going to do and go up by 6. As we're speed boosting ourselves with our Vic. Pretty weird time in Madden, by the way, this tournament. I feel like I've said that many times. Definitely a weird tournament. I throw my spacing switch, and I score 7. So the goal now is to make him work for his drives, but, this run out of nowhere just started killing me, and he busts another 80-yard rushing touchdown. So Vic probably has 400 rushing yards at this time. And I'm honestly not making my opponent play the game. And that is always super frustrating for me, is when I feel like my opponent's not playing the game, and they're in the game with me. As we recover the onside. I'm just trying to shoot clock, but we run inside zone, bust open for a touchdown. Up by 10 again, we just have to slow him down, and we get him to a 2nd and 16, get him to a 3rd and 16, so it's like, all right, this is our time to get a stop. He throws a dot, gets to a 4th and 2, and right here, I think this is probably the game-winning play. He has a slot fade up top, but our Randy Moss has deep zone KO and gets the knockout. And now it's just, okay, take as much time as possible. If he gives us 7, we obviously take it because a 17-point lead. He can't come back from that. But step 1 is just chew out the clock. He actually goes to a 4th and 5. We get the first down, and then with 40 seconds left, Vic runs the ball in. We're up by 17, and this game is over. So this was probably the game that I think I had the highest chance to lose based off how the game went. And his scheme as I'm celebrating on him. I feel like he kind of played lame, so I celebrated a lot, as you can see. I threw for 314 yards on 80% for 3 touchdowns. He threw for 98 yards on 46%, and he didn't want to pass that game. All right, so our next game, we are playing Civics, which you haven't heard of him. He's actually an up-and-coming player. He's been playing really well in, MUT tournaments. Been making a lot of runs, actually. And I played him twice in the past, 10 days before this game, and I beat him both times, but both games were not easy. This guy's tough. So I knew what he was running coming in. It was in dollar, and I knew he was in doubles flex, which is a really good offense right now. So I knew this would be a hard game to win. One of the harder games of my road, so let's go and get into it. First drive, we're just feeling them out. We actually get to a 3rd and 1. Nothing's open. So 4th and 1, first set of downs of the game. I have a chance to get stopped, and He actually plays really good defense. I have nothing open. I have to throw the ball to Sutton, and he honestly makes one of the biggest catches of the game right there. If he drops that, we're gonna play the game from the back foot. And the next play, I run my favorite match bomb in the game, in which I actually break down in my Ben Kurt Dimes ebook, which is live on my school, by the way, guys. Make sure to check that out if you want to learn anything you see me doing. As I throw a dot in this, corner of the end zone for a touchdown. But that match bomb, super powerful. One of the reasons I made this run is having that play in my bag. And then with his first play of the game, he actually throws a pick. Like I've been saying, bro, that first drive in MCS game is the scariest drive because, you don't have your pregame jitters out yet and things like that. And I feel like that's the drive where people make mistakes more than ever is that first drive. So it's another game where we got an early stop and we got to take advantage of it. So we're on a 2nd and 19 right here, just taking our check down, get us to a manageable 3rd down on 3rd and 8. We take Cameron Sutton across the middle, and that was a scary hit, guys. Because I know y'all remember those avalanches. That could be a fumble at any time. Luckily, it wasn't. And on 2nd and 5, I get the ball to Vic. In the red zone, I was feeding Vic a lot. Feed the ball to Vic, get a touchdown. And right here, we have him a 3rd and 16. And I'm like, okay, if I get a stop right here, the game is basically over. So now he's on 4th and 2. I play pretty bad defense, and I give up the running back flat route, like the easiest read ever. But so far in the game, I felt like I was playing pretty good pass D, and then on this random 2nd and 10, which normally isn't a rundown, he quick heights inside zone and gets an 80-yard touchdown. That one was tough because I feel like he only had 13 passing yards and he's already thrown a pick, so I feel like he was nervous. Giving him that touchdown definitely hurt. But either way, we're driving. He had pretty good run D, by the way. My Vic loses 6 yards on a run, so it's basically got sacked on first down at this point. Run the match bomb again. He didn't run match this time, but we still had a corner route wide open. So now we're on a 3rd and 7. He plays pretty good D. We just take our check down, get the first down. And it's another drive where we get in the red zone, and this Vic was OP, and in the red zone, we're going to run the ball and score our touchdown. We celebrate because I celebrate on everybody. You know how that goes. All right. So on this drive, my thought process was definitely if I stop the run, I don't think he's very confident in his passing game right now. And on this drive, his goal was to make the last drive of the half so that he could, double dip the chip because he gets ball at half. He takes a huge sack. We come to a 3rd and 27, and I played pretty conservative. And honestly, I don't think that was open, but either way, 4th and 16, we get a stop right here again. If we get a stop, we're in field goal range. Worst case, we go into half up by 17, game over. And he throws the ball directly at me. As you can see, my Nada's under the ball, my Brock Bowers is over the ball, and his Carmichael is like in a sandwich. So no way he catches this, and we win the game right here. But I get the worst animation ever. Carmichael stiff arms Brock Bowers, and he gets a first down. So back to playing defense, and he starts driving on us again. He's chewing this clock. Keep that in mind. And on the 2nd and 10, he makes a tough read. Carmichael with the pick, and is it redemption for that play? Kind of. The problem is I'm starting this own drive on my own 10 instead of starting on his 30, so it's a 60, 70-yard difference in terms of field position. And on this 3rd and 9, I don't even know what to say here. I saw him get open late, so I highballed it, thinking maybe worst case it goes out of bounds, but that was the worst read of my Madden career. I got the worst pick ever. He's back in a decent spot in this game because if he gets 7, he then gets ball at half, and he can tie this game up. So really dumb by me, and I just let my opponent back into the game. Just was a stupid mistake. Don't know why I threw that. Couldn't tell you why. And now we got to go out here and win this game again because this is a game again, and when we should have already won it. So he starts, passing a little better, I'd say, in the second half. I think his nerves probably down a little bit. Then on the 2nd and 10, I actually pass committed because I thought he wouldn't run on 2nd and 10, and then Vic stiff arms my TO, and we're in a tie game now. In a game where I could have been up by 17, we're in a tie game. That's how fast making a mistake in Madden can hurt you. As I overthrow the ball, so I'm on 4th and 7. If he gets a stop right here, he goes from almost down by 17 to in a winning spot, but Caleb Williams makes maybe throw of the year to Randy Moss, and I get a first down, and You know, I knew I got to get 7 this drive as I throw an absolute dot to Evan Ingram to get to the 5-yard line. And right here, take our RPO, get our touchdown, and let's get back on defense where I feel like we were playing really good pass D. We just had to stop Vic, bro. You know, I feel like his only touchdowns are 2 long touchdown runs, and then he also started a drive on his own 10-yard line. So I felt like he hadn't really passed on me too well this game up until this point. So, you know, I feel like if I stopped the run, I would force into some mistakes, and we get into a 4th and 10 right here. Biggest play of the game thus far. I switched it on my vert hook, bait him into throwing the post, and we get the stop. I would have loved 7 right there from Charles Tillman because, you know, I feel like he was playing pretty good defense on me. But either way, take our check down right here and run a 4th and 2, a big play in the game. I actually ran the ball. He gave me the run look, so I took it, and I ran the ball again with Vic to go up by 14. And I was feeling really good at this time because I'm like, okay, I'm playing really good defense on this guy. If I make him pass every play, he'll throw a pick. And Charles Tillman, you could have ended the game right there, but you got a pick earlier. We can't get too mad at Charles Tillman as he throws, I don't know, a throw out a sack, I guess. But Brock Bowers gets the pick. We're up by 14 with ball. We start chewing clock, running RPOs. You know, our goal is just keep this clock running as I go out of bounds. Run the ball on 3rd and 4. And I believe he quits out right there. And as you can see, we held him to 156 yards on 51%. No one we played yet has thrown for over like 50%, besides like over like 55%, and no one's had over like 160 passing yards. So our defense came to play this tournament. And yeah, so now we're going into the win and get in, and if we win this game, we make it to the LCQ live event with a chance to win $250,000. And I'm playing Lay Reborn. I've never played Lay Reborn before, but in the round before, he beat Michael Skimbo, one of the best players of all time in Madden. So I knew coming into it, like, okay, this kid's hot right now. This will not be an easy win. I got to watch a little bit of the game, and he was running Benkert Dimes and Dollar, so it was a straight-up game. You know, he was going to have to beat me doing what I do, so I had a lot of faith in that I could just get stops doing that. And he gets ball first, so he's driving pretty fast to start his opening drive. Nothing too crazy. As we sack him, get into a big 3rd and 15. And he takes his check down to Carmichael and runs into Brock Bowers. And as you guys know, we got those 7 avalanches at this time. So we get a fumble, which on his first drive, him fumbling, that sucks for him, but I was hype about it, and I knew, okay, let's go play smart offense. Let's not run into hit sticks. Let's go get 7 right here, and let's go take full control of this win and get in. We take our check down to our tight end, sprint out of bounds. We are avoiding hit sticks at all costs. Caleb Williams, good slide, Vetty slide right there. And when I got in the red zone, y'all have seen it all for these 4 games. I was giving the ball to Vic. I trusted Vic. And that's just what it was. As he does a dot on 3rd and 7. That was a good read right there. Another good read by my opponent. And that's just a huge tackle by T.O., by the way. Huge tackle, saving 7. I switch stick him. He takes his corner out. He throws it behind him. T.O. diving pick. So we're up 2 stops right now. I'm like, you know, I'm getting hyped. I'm like, all right, dude, if I go get another 7, this game is over. You know, we're gonna make this LCQ live event. You know, the defense just came to play, bro. Especially when they were passing, I feel like my pass defense was, you know, really, really good this tournament, really strong. You know, the run defense, a little iffy, but, you know, I blame the Vic freight train. And I do have the chew clock on. I want to point that out. When I'm up 2 possessions on you, I'm fully willing to start to make this game as short as possible at that point. As you see, I take the RPO, Moss, get into the end zone, touchdown, and somehow the ref calls me short. I don't know how you called me short right there, but I make a good little move right there, get the 7, whatever. Getting stopped didn't matter, or getting stopped in winner didn't matter, and I'm just like, okay, get another stop, we win, and Harold Carmichael lays the lumber, lays the wood, and we're up 21-0, and I'm not going to lie, you know, this game's over, bro. Like, I knew this game was over. He probably knew this game was over. I was hyped. I was like, yeah, let's go. You know, we're making it to the next round. But you know, he's throwing a few dots in a row, and right here, we get a big sack, get him to a 3rd and 22, and that's where people make their mistakes, bro. And especially when he's pressing right now, he needs points. Good switch to Tillman. We booked that. You know, Charles Tillman, one of the MVPs of this run. We speed boost out of there, walk in the end zone, and he quits. And that's it. That is how we won 4 single limb games, make the live, and then on January 21st, I'll be in Orlando playing Ron J my first game. Then I play the winner of Big Tay and Edgar my second game, and then for the win to make Madden Bowl and a chance to win $250,000, I'll be playing either Clef, Chosen NF, D-Croft, or Cool Claire. So tough competition coming up. We've been locked in, playing reps, you know, playing gauntlets and all that, and I feel really good going to the tournament.